15 America's largest retailers are closing stores right now. Are you noticing that your go-to shopping destinations are suddenly disappearing? It's not just your imagination. 15 of the biggest retailers in America are in the midst of closing their stores. This is a major shakeup in the retail industry, and it's happening right now. In this video, we'll dive into the details of which companies are struggling and why. Stay tuned to find out more about these closures and what it could mean for shoppers and the economy as a whole. Olympia Sports comes in at number 15. Olympia Sports filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in mid-September, after commencing a liquidation process earlier in the year. The firm said at the time that it intended to shut its remaining outlets by the end of the month. The firm was formed about 50 years ago and formerly had approximately 230 outlets. Between 2013 and 2019, it was bought by private equity company Critical Point Capital and kept with the investor's other sporting goods businesses under the Running Specialty Group. In the years afterwards, Olympia's parent company has encountered a variety of issues, including a broken order management system and executive flight, which have only been exacerbated by the epidemic. The upheaval eventually forced Olympia's closure. Revlon is at number 14. Revlon, the world's largest cosmetics company, declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy in June 2022. The filing comes at the conclusion of a difficult several years for the firm, which was already dealing with dwindling revenues when the pandemic broke out. COVID-caused supply chain interruption exacerbated the problem, making it more difficult for the firm to manage its debt burden. In addition to macro constraints, Revlon was finding it more difficult to attract younger customers in the face of the rising popularity of beauty startups such as Glossier. Previously, the firm attempted to avoid bankruptcy by hiring Citigroup as its loan agent. However, instead of sending $8 million in interest payments to Revlon's lenders, the bank inadvertently sent $900 million. More than half of that cash had still not been refunded when Revlon filed for bankruptcy. Escada America is at position 13. In mid-January 2022, the U.S. face of Germany-based premium women's fashion business, Escada filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. While the pandemic was a major factor in Escada America's demise, the branch had been dealing with a slew of problems for years. Escada America arose from the earlier bankruptcy of Escada USA in 2009, and the worldwide Escada organization struggled in the years that followed with overexpansion, weak leadership, and expensive leases. This mismanagement filtered down to its subsidiaries, notably Escada America, leaving the corporation unprepared to deal with the epidemic. As part of the bankruptcy process, the firm has agreed to liquidate 5 of its 10 U.S. facilities, and it intends to restructure and repay its creditors. ABC Carpet & Home is located at number 12. After 124 years in operation, the high-end home goods firm filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, owing around $80 million in unsecured debt and $8 million in secured debt. Notably, the firm initially withstood the pandemic's inception, but like others in its industry, it eventually succumbed to decreasing foot traffic and supply chain disruption. While the pandemic added additional challenges, it also worsened the company's existing issues, such as flagship store building delays and the company's failure to develop a digital presence on par with its in-store experience. Sales were down 50% from 2018 at the time of filing in 2021, hitting just $25 million. The firm said that it would continue to operate normally and would seek a buyer via an auction by the end of October. Lorna Jane is at number 11. The athletic store from Australia filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in California's bankruptcy court. Despite a boom in e-commerce income during the pandemic, the retailer's brick-and-mortar sales fell 56% in 2020, leaving it unable to satisfy its lease commitments. In July 2021, the corporation was fined $3.7 million for fraudulently promoting that their garments could eliminate and defend against COVID-19. The company filed for bankruptcy as a strategic maneuver, hoping to use it as justification to terminate its 21 U.S. store leases while continuing to sell to U.S. customers online. Next up is Sequential Brands Group, which comes in at number 10. Sequential Brands, the owner of Consumer Brands, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection as August drew to a conclusion. The firm, which includes brands such as Jessica Simpson, Joe's Jeans, Avia, and Anduin, finished 2020 with a debt burden of more than $450 million, which it had been trying to pay down due to CEO departure in the run-up to its filing. While the business originally attempted to improve its financial situation by selling off big assets such as Ellen Tracy and Caribbean Joe, such attempts were ineffective, and Sequential declared bankruptcy barely 3 weeks later. When it filed, it intended to sell most, if not all, of its assets and launch a bidding process for potential bidders. Global Brands Group USA is ranked 9th. At the end of July, the North American branch of garment manufacturer and brand owner Global Brands filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The firm, founded in 2005 by the century-old Lai and Fung, licenses big brands such as All Saints, Saga, and Le Tiger while also producing private label items. The vast bulk of its revenues, about 85%, originate from wholesale to big retailers including Macy's, Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and Costco, making it exposed to the pandemic's fall in retail store foot traffic and consumer spending. Alex and Ani are on number 8. In June 2021, jewelry maker Alex and Ani filed a restructuring support agreement, forcing the firm to pursue Chapter 11 bankruptcy procedures in Delaware's bankruptcy court. The brand, renowned for its bangle bracelets, had early success, reaching a $1 billion value in 2016. Shortly afterwards, the firm entered a downward spiral caused by legal issues, CEO churn, and mismanagement, leaving it unable to adapt in the face of changing customer tastes, a ransomware attack, and the outbreak of the pandemic. Revenue decreased 40% in 2020, resulting in June's bankruptcy. The Washington Prime Group is ranked 7th. After temporarily shutting roughly 100 retail malls, mall owner Washington Prime Group filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Businesses were unable to pay rent due to pandemic constraints, resulting in a $127 million loss in rental revenue in 2020. The decline did not end there. Revenue plummeted from $10 million to $3.3 million between March 2020 and March 2021. WPG agreed into a restructuring deal with its creditors when the company filed for bankruptcy. The firm announced that it had received $100 million in debtor-in-possession finance to sustain business operations, while it sought to deleverage its balance sheet by $950 million. The Collected Group is at number 6. The Collected Group, which operated under the brands Joy, Current/Elliott, and Equipment, was already in the process of liquidating its outlets when the pandemic struck, hastening its shift away from physical retail. Before declaring bankruptcy in April, the firm had been exploring for purchasers but had not received a sufficient offer. Collected emerged from bankruptcy in early June with fresh capital from private equity company KKR to continue its e-commerce operation. The Paper Source comes in at number 5. Paper Source, a stationery business, declared bankruptcy in early March. It saw a decline in sales as a result of pandemic-related retail closures, as well as a drop in demand for stationery as weddings and other events were canceled. Paper Source came under criticism when it was found that the company had given executives a total of $1.5 million in bonuses during the epidemic, while allegedly failing to pay some of its suppliers. Barnes & Noble purchased the business in May, giving the funds needed for Paper Source to emerge from bankruptcy. On number 4, we have Belk. Belk obtained quick approval for its restructuring plan, and the department store company exited from bankruptcy only 1 day after filing. Even before the epidemic, Belk, which was founded in 1888, was having to adjust to shifting customer expectations. It declared bankruptcy with a high debt burden $1.9 billion that it was unable to fulfill when the COVID-19 outbreak slowed its sales. Belk claimed in its restructuring deal that it has cut its debt by $450 million and obtained $225 million in new cash to keep its 291 shops open. Solstice Marketing Concepts is at number 3. Solstice, a sunglasses shop, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in February with intentions to reorganize. At the time of filing, the firm said that sales at its 66 locations were down more than 50% from the previous year owing to pandemic lockdowns. The store emerged from bankruptcy in August 2021 after Second Avenue Capital Partners supplied them with a $6.5 million exit finance loan. L'Occitane is ranked number 2. In January, the U.S. division of the French cosmetics store L'Occitane declared bankruptcy. At the time of its petition, the firm was $15 million in rent overdue and wanted to leave 29 burdensome contracts where its sales had plummeted, alleging that the rent no longer represented the market. The firm declared in August that it had finished reorganization and intended to exit Chapter 11 proceedings by the end of the month. Stock Plus Field comes in at number 1 on our list. Stock Plus Field, formerly known as Big R Stores, declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy at the start of the year. After more than 55 years in operation, the farming and agricultural supplies merchant announced the closure of its 25 branches. In his statement, CEO Matthew Webb referred to the COVID-19 epidemic, saying that there have been numerous obstacles in 2020, and Stock Plus Field was not immune to them. RP Acquisition Corp. Thanks for watching our update on the 15 American retailers that are closing their stores. It's a tough time for the industry, and these closures are just a glimpse into the challenges that companies are facing. We hope you found this information helpful, and stay tuned for more updates on the retail industry and other important news.